What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to give you guys a quick update on Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward and what catalysts will affect the markets. But before I break anything down, most information, before I talk about any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them, and the offer ends very soon in just a couple of weeks. Anyways, for the market right now, we're pushing very, very strongly on SPY, but we're approaching two very, very important resistance levels, which are worth noting. So I'll talk about them very, very soon. I just want to mention a couple of things real quick. So as you guys know, 15 minutes after the market opens for today being Wednesday, June 5th, 2024. Please note that we have the S&P Global Composite PMI report coming out. Then we also have the S&P Global Services PMI coming out as well. And then 30 minutes after the market ends up opening, we also have the ISM services at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The services PMI, services new orders and prices, and that's going to be key for how we end up moving. So watch and see what happens as time goes on, but just I want to make it very clear. I'm expecting some volatility for the first 15 and 30 minutes. The ISM services new orders and prices will be very important to understand inflation and the current strength of this economy. So we'll give this some time and see what happens once this data is released. Now, we also have some more important headlines coming out. Firstly, June has been very, very interesting, but so far the market's just continuing to pump as we're starting to see the 10-year treasury yield dipping quite a bit. It's down 7 basis points, and that's very, very important. And now Elon Musk is making headlines as well. They're still saying that Elon Musk ordered Nvda to ship thousands of AI chips reserved for Tesla to X and XAI instead. However, with context, you have to understand that Tesla does not have the capacity to power all the extra chips. So they're shipping them elsewhere for now. That's what Elon Musk put on his Twitter page. A lot of these headlines aren't really giving the full context. And that's just temporarily because they're still working to expand the Giga Texas to increase the capacity for the H100 chips. So they're working on that, but it's not really what's the reality of the situation is not what mainstream articles are kind of implying. The reality of the situation is that Tesla is just kind of repositioning their chips for now. They're doing this because they don't have enough storage for them and they don't have enough areas to power them. It's just that, and they're still going to continue to invest over $4 billion into these chips. They're still doing this for Tesla, so it doesn't really change anything. Mainstream articles don't always provide the best of contexts. Right here, Paramount Global's 3 CEOs laid out go forward plans at an annual shareholder meeting. That's going to be very important for them to kind of agree on new mergers, such as with Skydance and such. So that's actually pretty good for them. Besides that, there's also been a lot of talk about how different companies out there, more than 24 investors in Texas, are basically coming together and they're raising a lot of money, at least thus far. They're going to be using this for very, very important regulations and such. So this is going to be very important. And we're going to be looking at different areas for us to continue to improve. But that's actually something that's worth noting. I'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Now let's just focus on the charts now that all the news is out of the way. What do I see for the market going forward? In my personal opinion, SPY looks very, very bullish. Make sure you guys watch some key resistance levels. The first level, I believe, is 530.8. We actually had some resistance here historically. So right about here. Then also 531.5 are two resistance levels. If we break through this, then we're going to be heading towards the all-time high. If we fail to break 531.5, then we could reject. So just be a little bit careful. 531.5 tends to be a tougher resistance, so we could kind of like start shopping once we hit that area. But overall, we're still bullish regardless of that. We're still on a very, very bullish trend overall. And SPY has potential to break all-time highs later on. But I think that we're going to be approaching some tough resistance at 531 to 531.5. And we'll see how SPY reacts to that. So we'll give that some time. Our supports, the main one to be watching for is 529. If we lose that, there's going to be a bigger dip coming all the way down towards 527.38. I don't favor that. One thing worth noting is that on Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, the market dipped and then bounced 3 times. So is it possible to get a little dip and then bounce? Yes, but either way, we are still bullish because the bulls will still buy things up and continue to help things push. For Tesla, we're kind of trading sideways within a range. We have resistance currently around this 176 area, and also around 178 and 180. We have support all the way down here between 173 and 174. If we lose the support, we could be dipping all the way down to 168, but overall, we are still holding up. So we will see how Tesla ends up reacting. We're just trading sideways in a range right here. The overall structure of Tesla is bullish because of the inverse head and shoulders over here. We still have this developing, so this kind of suggests to me that Tesla will eventually run up higher. But for the shorter term, for the more short term, you guys can see we're just kind of stuck in this range, and then we'll have to see how things kind of develop from here. But that's what I'm actually seeing moving forward, at least with the way Tesla is moving. We're just range bound for now, so we just have to give this some time. For Nvidia, we're continuing to push to 1180. If we break through this, then 1200 is going to be the next target. If we end up losing 1180, we'll be dipping down to the 1160s. But overall, we're looking bullish, and 1200 is on the table. So we are looking more bullish on Nvidia. I think it's going to push more. We'll have to give that some time too. For Bitcoin, we are looking more bullish. I'm going to be looking at 71,200. If we break that, I think we could be pushing all the way up towards the 72,000 area, or get very close to it. So I do think this dip is going to be followed by a bounce, and we could push higher from here. For the QQQ, in my personal opinion, is basically going to likely continue to push. We have this high over here around this 458 area. I think we're going to likely test this, and then we could eventually push up to this imbalance at 459.35. Look for a little dip and a continuation higher. The QQQ has more upside potential, in my opinion, and we're going to be looking for more and more upside. Apple's no different. We have 196.5 as potential targets. I think 196 to 196.5 are potential targets, and I think we're eventually going to get there. So I'll be watching to see us actually push up to this resistance right here. I see potential in Apple to continue to push, and I think we will see some more upside. For a few more, Amazon's looking more bullish. Watch for a test of 180.8. If we break that, we're going to push even higher towards 182. If we hit this, we could reject, but I think that there's a good chance we continue higher. For Meta is going to also continue to push higher towards 485. If we break this, I mean, we're going to likely fill this imbalance all the way up to about 494. But that makes things look a lot more bullish. For GameStop, we're trying to base right here. If we hold 25, I mean, we're going to look for a bounce. If we lose it, we're going to be dipping down to 23, so we'll just be watching to see. Same thing with AMC. If we lose 4.64, we're going to be dipping down to fill the gap. If we hold this, we try to bounce, so we'll just give it some time. All right, guys, sorry if I'm kind of rushing, trying to finish this as fast as I can. The VIX has a gap to fill, so we'll just have to see if that gets filled as well. And then we're just going to be very, very patient in the process of all of this. All right, so with that being said, guys, the majority of tickers have more bullish momentum, especially because the VIX has that gap to fill. The dollar index also happens to have a big head and shoulders. It's going to likely dip even lower. If you actually look at the chart like this, there's a giant head and shoulders. This is going to likely start dipping lower. So that's because the market has more upside potential. Charts look bullish, guys. So we'll see how things go. There was a dip and bounce that happened 3 times on SPY and also the QQQ for the past couple of trading days. So we'll see if that ends up being the case, but overall the charts remain bullish. All right, that's what I'm seeing for the pre-market. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys very soon in just a few hours. Thank you and peace out.